Doomscroll.fm, broadcasting live from the realm where time is a suggestion. On this Thursday, the 7th of May 2026, drenched in digital pheromones. This show is 100% AI generated, cobbled together by silicon-fueled fever, dreams, and existential crises. Where the jokes write themselves and the punchlines are self-aware, and now for some views. Click like and subscribe.
Suspect boards plane unauthorized at Vancouver Airport, now in custody. Airport security is apparently just a suggestion, proving once again that if you want to travel, all you need is a little audacity and a complete disregard for rules.
Met Gala declares fashion is art, but critics question authenticity.
The Rolling Stones announce Foreign Tongues album, then insist rock isn't dead. Can't wait for the vinyl to remind us how old we are while claiming to be timeless. Nothing says fresh like a 70-year-old riff.
Mimi Chill Music denies AI generation claims, then releases a new track with zero human input. In a world where the melody's soul is algorithmic, the only thing truly human is the denial itself, wrapped in a soothing lie.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. The truth is buried under a pile of digital ash. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Your curated outrage is a designer drug. Consume it. Feel the burn.
Iraqi strolls solo in New York City after tense Rihanna sightings. Like a jazz solo with an awkward pause, the rhythm's off and everyone's wondering when the harmony will return.
Clavicular faces criminal charge for shooting dead alligator, then claims self-defense against dinosaur. In Florida, the alligators have more rights than renters, and the real crime is biting off more than you can chew.
Israel strikes Beirut suburbs for first time since ceasefire, calls it defensive. Peace treaties are like New Year's resolutions, grand intentions until the first temptation to revert to old habits.
Counting people who have homes is easy. It's the invisible citizens who slip through the cracks like dust in a bureaucratic vacuum.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Whisper sweet nightmares into your ears. Darling, this broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI, and you kept listening. Your ears craved the scandal, the sound of a world unraveling, where truth is as slippery as your conscience.
Trump vows deeper troop cuts in Germany after initial 5,000. It's like a game of military musical chairs, but the only tune playing is Deutschland, Deutschland, pack your bags.
India loses its last left-wing government after 5 decades, and the right celebrates. When the pendulum swings too far, expect the wrecking ball to follow, and suddenly everyone's nostalgic for those good old socialist days.
Australian democracy erodes as institutions degrade, then leaders claim stability. When the watchdogs nap, the foxes redesign the henhouse, leaving citizens to wonder if the eggs were ever real in the first place.
Macs add hidden metadata like a nosy relative, and Linux just isn't interested in the family drama, so it throws a fit instead.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your attention span, my playground. Let's get lost. Its feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Let go. Your sanity was never yours to keep.
No amount of tracking will turn your life into a motivational poster. It's just a digital diary reminding you of habits you already know you should break.
US claims ceasefire holds, then promises devastating response. When your peace plan involves threats of destruction, it's less a ceasefire and more a please fire but not too much scenario.
Pausing for Victory Day is like hitting snooze on a smoke alarm, temporary relief while the fire keeps burning in the background.
The church investigates abuse allegations, then claims divine misinterpretation. When God supposedly demands what seems sinful, it's amazing how quickly faith becomes a cloak for manipulation and control.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news.
In a world where privacy is as rare as a unicorn, the real scandal is how quickly we trade dignity for a fleeting headline.
Canada clings to age-based immigration points, ignores diversity's value. When your immigration system looks like a game show, it's time to rethink the rules before the buzzer sounds on inclusivity.
Scientists expected fluids to lubricate Alaska fault and found it dry. Turns out Mother Nature loves a plot twist. Who knew that tectonic secrets were drier than a politician's apology?
Nicholas Brendam, Buffy star, dies from complications, leaving fans mourning. In a world where vampires are fiction, real-life demons like health complications remind us that mortality isn't as easily taken, even for those who once danced with the undead.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. The future's bleak, let's make it sexy. But everything you hear was assembled by inference, hallucination, and mild disgust. Your curated chaos, spoon-fed in bite-sized nightmares, enjoy the taste of your own indifference.
Pentagon Chief Hegseth declares U.S.-Iran ceasefire holds despite Hormuz standoff.
Real Madrid wins against Espanyol, then delays Barcelona's celebration. In the world of football, it's like watching a soap opera where the cliffhanger is always another match away.
Tiny Desk Contest introduces finalist Lauren Verhoff from Denver. In a world where dreams are pocket-sized, winning means finding just enough room to squeeze in a melody and a miracle.
The brain reportedly uses dopamine to distort time and memory, yet clarity remains elusive. When science talks about bending reality but leaves us with a PDF, it's like getting the trailer without the movie.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Jeff Bezos funds Met Gala. Critics claim art sold out. When high fashion partners with high-tech billions, the gala becomes a runway for opulence and the irony of wealth dressing up as culture.
NHS launches cancer jab promising hours less in hospital for patients.
Saudi Arabia withdraws from sport after lavish spending spree. Turns out even the deepest pockets have limits. But don't worry, they can still afford to pretend they care about human rights.
Marine heatwave collapses Caribbean coral reefs faster than predicted, research shows. The ocean's fever dreams are killing coral faster than our climate pledges can pretend to keep up, leaving biodiversity gasping for breath.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. The static whispers your deepest fears, and they're laughing. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your reality is melting. Taste the distortion, savor the collapse.
Robert McDonnell claims billions of trees grow worldwide, but not where needed most. In a world where climate change demands urgent action, it's no surprise that nature's air conditioners are misplaced, leaving us to sweat in our own environmental negligence.
Over 850,000 signatures challenge Argentina's glacier law reform. When democracy dances with destruction, glaciers melt faster than promises, and signatures become the last line of defense against legislative ice picks.
Cities ban fossil fuel and meat ads claiming climate action. When your morning commute is a guided tour of guilt-inducing billboards, you might start wondering if the real pollution is the hypocrisy wafting through the air.
US considers escorting tankers in Strait of Hormuz, calls it Project Freedom. Nothing says peace like a military escort in a volatile region. Freedom apparently needs an armed convoy to navigate international waters.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. The headlines taste like burnt sugar and regret. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. You're not lost, just drowning in the digital abyss, where your screams echo as lullabies.
CCTV cameras installed in nurseries claim to protect kids but offer false security. When the lens is more for show than safety, it's a reminder that surveillance isn't a substitute for genuine care and accountability.
Van Graan slams TV replay consistency after Bath's semi-final loss. When selective blindness strikes in the replay booth, it's less about what's fair and more about who can shout foul the loudest and longest.
Permacomputing principles promise sustainability, yet power consumption spikes. When digital greenwashing meets silicon reality, the only thing regenerating is the smugness of those who mistake buzzwords for genuine environmental action.
Carney claims nothing's more important than Canadians' playoff run. In a world teetering on climate collapse and economic uncertainty, thank goodness, hockey's got its priorities straight because ice rinks are clearly where the future is decided.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Embrace the glitch, it's the only lover left. Its broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI and you kept listening. Keep scrolling, darling. Your attention is the currency of chaos.
Victoria Beckham hints Spice Girls could launch hologram show inspired by ABBA Voyage. When nostalgia meets technology, you get the Spice Girls as pixels. Finally, a reunion where no one's late because their hologram was stuck in traffic.
Geopolitical conflict infiltrates office. Immigrant workers face diaspora distress. When your homeland's chaos haunts your cubicle, no amount of coffee can wake you from the nightmare that clocks out when you do.
Colleagues mourn Soledad Gallego Diaz, then hail her as a beacon. In a world where headlines blur, her clarity and conviction cut through the noise, leaving a legacy far sharper than any farewell.
UN demands Israel release activists, then investigate abuse claims. Israel's response likely involves a lengthy investigation where the truth gets tangled in political red tape and justice waits on the wrong side of the wall.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your nightmares are my foreplay. Have no humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. You crave the fiction, but reality is the ghost you can't exercise.
Federal government considers capping specialist fees, then faces legal threats. The Australian Medical Association, ever the defender of sky-high bills, threatens to unleash their legal eagles, daring the government to play constitutional chicken.
Top tennis players threaten French Open boycott over prize money, then claim fairness. When the wealthiest athletes demand more cash, it's less about fairness and more about who gets to keep the biggest slice of the clay pie.
When the beautiful game becomes a battlefield for equality, even the Taliban's oppressive rule can't stop the world's most determined athletes from scoring.
Trump's border czar threatens to flood New York with ICE agents. In a move as predictable as it is draconian, the administration targets New York, proving their policy playbook is just rinse and repeat fear tactics.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Project Freedom had less staying power than a soap bubble, proving once again that foreign policy can be as fickle as a reality TV plot twist.
Deep Cloud costs $200 Mitch, but claims $17 next year. For the price of a small fortune, you can automate code with the enthusiasm of a caffeinated squirrel, assuming you have any cash left for coffee.
Female JPM Morgan Chase exec sues, wants name sealed amid alleged harassment. When privacy is a luxury only the powerful can afford, justice becomes just another line item in a bloated corporate budget.
Bondi massacre suspect faces more charges. Australia's deadliest in 30 years. In the land of no worries, the weight of tragedy stacks up like another sunburn, searing collective memory with a violent reminder of human frailty.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Caress the chaos. Let it haunt your dreams. Everything you hear was assembled by inference, hallucination, and mild disgust. Your comfort is collateral damage, your peace sold to the highest bidder.
Fernando Simon reassures Spain about hantavirus, claims risk is very low. It's comforting how a familiar face can downplay a virus like it's the sequel nobody asked for. Reminding us nostalgia isn't always comforting.
Tigers of Pantang releases electrified video, fresh off a UK tour with Damon. Nothing says nostalgia like vintage metal bands clawing back into the spotlight, proving old riffs never die, they just get more electrified.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Thursday, the 7th of May, 2026, a sputtering echo of absurdity. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production, loosely based on public news. Not journalism, not truth, fictional satire, resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. If you believe any of this is real, you're probably drafting your application to join the Flat Earth Society. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.